So one team that I really haven't been talking about that much that has had an absolutely awesome start to the season is the Calgary Flames, who have been absolutely unbelievable to start this year. Now, even though they seem to be kind of falling back down to earth, and by back down to earth, I mean the other teams are kind of catching up to them, they are still having a pretty good start and a better start than a lot of other people expected this team to have. Currently, right now on Sunday, December 8th, the Calgary Flames have a record of 13, 9, and 5 for 31 points. They are fifth in the Pacific Division, just 1 point behind the Oilers, 1 point ahead of the Kraken, and they are 14th in the NHL. They hold the second wild card spot, again, 1 point behind the Edmonton Oilers, and 1 point ahead of the Colorado Avalanche. So, again, they are in a very tight Western Conference wildcard race right now, and maybe I'm talking about this at the wrong time because even 2 weeks ago they were pretty comfortably in a divisional spot. But I still think with how this team has played, they have been pretty impressive. But I'm going to be honest, you look at the underlying numbers, a lot of it's coming from the goaltending. So you look at their home and away record. They are 10-3-1 at home, which is a pretty remarkable record, one of the best in the NHL actually. And they are 3-6-4 on the road. They have been pretty abysmal on the road, just can't really get wins. Sometimes it's expected with teams like the Flames. When you look in terms of teams like that, you see that they're, maybe they are having a better start than expected. Sometimes they do better at home than they do on the road. I remember the Flyers were a pretty big example of that last year, where they were pretty good at home, but they weren't so good on the road. That was a big example that I remember from the Flyers. Maybe the Flames are the Flyers of this year. I'm not saying that they are, but again, the road record's not ideal, of course. You look at their other stats. They have a 2.56 goals for per game, which is ranked 27th in the league. They have a goals against of 2.85, which is 8th in the league, 8th least. So I think that's pretty awesome looking at that goals against stat. But again, it shows that maybe you're being carried by your goaltenders a lot here and your defense as well. And you look at the goals for, the offense has struggled. I don't think they have a single player that has scored more than 10 goals this year, but you kind of look at their scoring. It's coming from a lot of players across the board. It's not specifically one player who was like scoring all of their goals. It's coming from multiple guys, which I think is definitely a benefit, but still, they are still bottom five when it comes to goal scoring in the National Hockey League, obviously. Their power play, 21.5 power play percentage, which is ranked 14th, and their PK, a 71.1, is ranked third. So, again, those are two pretty solid numbers there. The power play has been performing very well, and, the PK is top 3 in the league, which I think are good numbers and good stats to have for sure. And I think that Calgary should be proud of those stats. But, again, as I said, I think a lot of what this team has done has been a big factor of their goaltending. And we're going to look at that first. Again, I said that the goalie was a big factor. Why not look at that immediately? And I think that both Dustin Wolf and Dan Vladar have both played very well. So Wolf has a 8-4-1 record this season, a 2.59 and a .918 save percentage. He's a rookie. It may seems like we have been hearing about Wolf for such a long time, and he's been a good prospect for the Flames for so long. He is now in the NHL as a full-time rookie, and I think he's top 10 in save percentage in the NHL. Top 10. That is very impressive from a rookie. I'm being honest. Like, you see Michkov and Hudson and Stankoven and Celebrini. I might be taking Wolf right now. I'm being serious. I might be taking Wolf. And again, as I said, a big factor in why this team has been able to win as many games as they have, I think has been heavily relied on their goaltending. And again, it shows with their goals against and a lot of their other analytics too. Dan Vladar, still just as good. 5-5-4, a 2.74 goals against and a .900. I think those, again, that's two very solid numbers there coming from your goalies. Again, I would say they've split their games pretty evenly. So I guess that shows as well that they've been kind of running a tandem here. Not one specific guy's been taking over. Even though Wolf has played a few more games than Vladar, it seems like Vladar has played more games than Wolf as it is. But overall, I think that's a big part in why they have been as good as they've been, is that goaltending, and I think a lot of credit's got to go to them for sure. Let's look at their blue line. while we're here. And I only put 3 guys on the blue line here because they were the most notable guys that I saw. Mackenzie Weegar having an unbelievable year. 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points. I think with guys like Noah Hanifin and Chris Tanev leaving prior to before last season, they had one of the better blue lines in the league. And that's kind of crazy to think because they weren't really that great last year. And they still had one of the better blue lines. They trade away Hanifin. They trade away Tanev. And I think that has turned into, they got a great return for both. But I think they've also, it's given Weegar an opportunity to really show himself under. We always knew that Weegar was a good defenseman, but I think he really got a good opportunity here with the Flames to show who he really is. Rasmus Andersson as well has looked great too. 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. 6 goals as a defenseman I think is pretty remarkable. Andersson I think has been terrific. I don't know if he's someone who gets traded. Again, I think this team probably does sell the trade deadline and does become a seller. Maybe not as big of a seller as other teams in the league, but I think they probably should still sell. But Andersson has been terrific. I think you keep him, though. I'm being honest. I think you keep him. I think you probably are going to have to keep Weegar just because of his contract. But still, those are 2 defensemen who have looked very good this year, and I think they get credit, but they don't get enough credit for how good they really are. And I think Andersson did make the 4 Nations roster. I don't believe Weegar made Team Canada. So, again, something to keep in mind there. You look at Kevin Ball. Kevin Ball was a new add from the Jacob Markstrom trade. I would say he's played pretty well. 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 points. I think he's playing on Anderson's pair. I think he's been great for the Flames, and I think that's somebody there too who has become a pretty solid add since coming from Jersey. And again, you see a lot of defensemen who are on this roster full time, like Miro Manoff and Kevin Ball. They never really got real opportunities in Vegas and Jersey respectively. And I think that seeing them get opportunities here with Calgary has really gone a long way for their careers. So a lot of credit's got to go there to Ball and even Miro Manoff, who's not mentioned on my thing here, but I think they got to show some credit too. Okay, since we're doing this video completely reverse order, let's talk about the forward core now, who again, as I said, there's no specific player who is kind of running away with points, although Nazem Kadri has looked pretty damn good. 8 goals, 8 assists for 16 points. I think that Kadri has looked honestly awesome for the Calgary Flames and was somebody who was brought up in trade rumors a little bit in the last couple of days and has still been pretty remarkable. Or not the last couple of days, last couple of months with the Flames. I think they probably keep him just because of his contract, but I think that he's been pretty remarkable with Calgary, and if they did get an offer for him, if it's good enough, I think they probably would pull the trigger on it, to be honest. I think they're still planning on having this a little bit of a rebuild here, being honest. Jonathan Huberdeau, weirdly the same stats as Kadri. 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points. Still awesome numbers there. I think he's been incredible as well. And seeing someone like him, who has struggled so much in his NHL career, seeing him be able to play well this year has been great. It is great to see. The last 2 seasons in Calgary have been a real struggle for him. Seeing him finally pan out in his third and look somewhat decent, I think you have to be happy to hear that as a Calgary Flames fan and even a Florida Panthers fan, honestly, seeing how well they have played. Next up, Connor Zary, one of the young players in Calgary. He was a rookie last year. He was profiled as a big-name center. He was even involved in trade rumors too, weirdly. But Zary has been incredible for Calgary as well. 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. That's your young future. You want your guys from your youth to be really improving. And I think Zary has kind of taken that next step with the Calgary Flames. And he's been a thrill to watch here as well this season too. Michael Backlund, their captain, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. He's also looked good as well. I mean, Backlund has also been involved in trade rumors a little bit, but he's been there for a very long time in Calgary. Ever since I started watching hockey, Backlund has been there. He's been there, I think, his entire career. He's been a very consistent Flame, and I think that, he's putting up his numbers that we expect. Matt Coronato was a guy who was in and out of the lineup a little bit last year. I think he's kind of been in and out, mostly in the American Hockey League the last couple of seasons. But this year, 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points with the team. He has also looked impressive too. Again, that's part of your youth. That's part of your youth that you really want to build. And I think that Coronado has shown that maybe Calgary's prospect pool is better than we may imagine. And there's even guys in the American Hockey League who are playing really well too. Even guys in like the CHL, like Luke Misa, the brother of Michael Misa, who the Calgary Flames could pick, is looking really good right now as well. And then you see someone like Blake Coleman, who's a little bit of a negative, I'm going to be honest. Even though he does have 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points, Coleman was better last year than he has been this year, and we kind of expected that. Like, last year was a really good year for Coleman, and this year it seems like he's kind of fallen back down to earth a little bit since coming to Calgary in 2021. So, for me, they can still probably move Coleman. They can still probably move Backlund. They can still probably move Kadri. But I don't know if they really do, though, with how they've been starting. And again, Coleman has kind of been a little bit slower than usual. Still putting up solid numbers, but has still been a tad bit slow for this Flames team. And then finally, Marty Pospisil, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points has been something that I've been a big fan of in Calgary for a while. Plays the puck very well. Good offensively. Just somebody who I've liked since this Flames team has taken over a new kind of identity since, all of their players departed the last couple of years. So yeah, I think, again, as I said, Calgary, a lot of it's been on their goaltending. Do I think this is going to last? Probably not. I hate to say it, and I know I might be proved wrong, and I actually was proved wrong because a lot of what I said about Calgary in the offseason, saying that they're going to finish 7th in the Pacific, I didn't think they were going to be that good. People said I was going to get proved wrong, and so far I have. So I wouldn't be surprised if I get proved wrong here, but I said that I thought it would last with the Flyers last year, and it did not last. So I don't really want to take that chance again. But again, I'm not saying the Flames are the Flyers of this year, but I think that they have had a very good start, comparatively speaking, to where we thought they were going to be. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Calgary Flames and how you guys feel about this season. If there's any players that I missed, again, I when I make these videos, I don't go through every single player on the roster because that would just take so much more time than it really needs to. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe down below if you're new and you're a Calgary Flames fan. Again, I make content on all 32 teams, but I make videos on the Flames as well because they're a team in the NHL. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.